on, dudes? My name is the team by Coach for Kansas City Nidokings, and today we have our team prep for a Week 5 match versus the Minnesota Mightyenas, who took the place of the Chicago Cub Chews. So this is his first match, actually, being in the league, because they swapped it out last week anyways. He's got a pretty intimidating team, but I'm going to be explaining the team that I built for his and why I brought them. So his team consists of Mega Medicham, Volcanion, Weavile, Azelf, Tangrowth, Gligar, Durant, Pyroar, Bouffalant, Muck, and Mightyenas. So he's got a lot of bulk and a lot of firepower. That Medicham and the Volcanion are super scary. He's just got a lot of power on this team, so it's gonna definitely be an interesting fight. I want to see something. Power ranking after the post draft. I want to see where they rank them. Yeah, 6th. I'm surprised they only got 6th, because that's a strong team. Anyways, so yeah, so starting out here, I decided to bring Toothpick. Now, Toothpick is, Toothpick the Mudsdale. I don't know why. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We're rocking Assault Vest with Stamina, Earthquake, Heavy Slam, Superpower, and Rock Slide. So, Assault Vest, obviously, if he wants to hit me with a special move, I can take that a lot better. That's mainly for the Volcanion, so I can probably get off an E-Quake on it if I get the opportunity, because it should do a ton from Mudsdale. With base 125 attack, man. This thing is like, it's basically the slow Ravager. I just realized that because of its spread. If you gave it good, like, base 105 speed, it'd be the same as Mega Pinsir. That's cool. Anyway, yeah, Stamina boosts defense every time you get hit by an attack, so I have the special defense boost, and after a couple hits, a physical defense boost. So Toothpick is gonna be pretty key, I think, in this match. But Earthquake works well against his entire team. He does have a couple levitators, including the Azelf and the Gligar, but everything else gets hit by it, which is really nice. Actually, I think Mightyenas levitate too. But yeah, either way, it just still does really good damage. Like, it does good on the Muck. The Pyroar hits neutral on the Durant, and the Durant doesn't want to take it anyway. Hits that Weavile really hard, of course, because I know the white Weavile can't do too much, because I will outspeed, so Icicle, well, I don't know. I will definitely live at least one Icicle Crash from the Weavile. It's guaranteed. And, yeah, Volcanion, I don't know, it works really nice against Volcanion. So, yeah. Heavy Slam, I guess, mainly for the mons that are, that Earthquake does not do well against, so like the Azelf and, Rex Weavile. So, yeah, that should be pretty decent as well. Superpower works well against a couple normal types. He's got the Pyro and the Bouffalant, so he has no immunities to the Superpower, so I can hit pretty hard. Obviously, it won't be very good against the Mega Medicham. Won't do too well against the Azelf, so you know, it's kind of one of those things. And then Rock Slide, I didn't really know what else to put on. There's not much else that Toothpick gets that's good, but it does work. It does hit the Volcanion. It does hit several Pokemon for neutral damage. It hits everything at least, except for the Medicham for at least neutral. So that's always good. Anyways, rocking a typical bulky physical sweeper set, max HP, max attack with an adamant nature, 4 in special defense just because the stamina boost will key into effect for the physical defense and whatnot. So anyway, yeah, that's what we're running on Toothpick. Next up, we have Princess here with a Scarf, rocking Motor Drive. He doesn't have any specific electric Pokemon. Actually, Tangrowth gets Sleep Powder. I may end up debating. I was thinking of Hidden Power Electric, but I think Vital Spirit is better in this situation. So, yeah. Ice Punch is just... Ice Punch obliterates the Gligar. It'll do a pretty good amount of damage to Tangrowth because it doesn't have Thick Fat. I double-checked that because I don't know, I felt like it would. And, yeah, that's pretty much all that Ice Punch is good against. Cross Chop hits the same things that Superpower does. It obliterates Weavile and whatnot. If I had hit Cross Chop first turn last week, I think I would have won that battle, because I think Kitty would have held his own, and we would have won. So it's really unfortunate that I decided to go for Earthquake, especially because Cross Chop is the same power as Earthquake, and Earthquake did over half. So I'm still salty about that, because that was just I just spaced completely. Anyways, Cross Chop also works well against his normal types. Hits well on the Durant. He does have the couple psychic types, and once again, for fighting, he has no immunity, no ghost type. Flamethrower, I wanted to run Flamethrower or Fire Punch, because Flamethrower will work better against the Tangrowth. I almost guarantee that with 200 special attack and the mild nature, I will obliterate the Tangrowth in one shot with Flamethrower, because it's got really good physical defense, really bad special defense, base 50, so yeah, Flamethrower also obliterates Durant, hits well against the Weavile. Volcanion is his best switch-in, I think, to Princess, but at the same time it's not because of Thunderbolt, so Princess is going to be really, really, really key to keep around in this match, so I need to make sure she does not go down, at least not turn 1, because I was an idiot last week. Anyways, we have 56 in attack just to boost the power of Ice Punch and Cross Chop, and then 200 in special attack, and you see still how close the attack stats are, even with the small investment into physical. And then we have max speed. I'm running mild. I'm running a Scarf Nature, mainly because I don't really need the timid or the hasty or whatever to outspeed anyways Pokemon with the Scarf. I mean, by default, Weavile, Mega Medicham, Azelf, Durant all outspeed. I think Pyroar does too. Pyroar's like base 104, something like that. So he's got several fast Pokemon that I will not outspeed without the Scarf, and I will outspeed as long as they are not Scarfed. So that's pretty cool stuff. So next up we have Hoodlum Scrafty, who came last week. Yeah, I just felt like he worked really nicely because of his spread. Fighting works really nicely. Dark works really nicely. That's why I'm running 2 dark moves, Crunch and Knock Off, because I don't really need any other specific moves. Fire Punch is pretty good for the Tangrowth and the Weavile. I mean, the Weavile will get obliterated by Drain Punch, so it's probably not going to come into it anyway, but Durant works well against Hoodlum Scrafty, and I'm really glad, actually, this thing gets Fire Punch. That's really nice. I think it also gets Flamethrower. No, it doesn't. Well, that's okay. I just feel like this would be a Pokemon to learn Flamethrower, because, I mean, Electivire can learn Flamethrower, but I don't know. We're rocking Assault Vest because it's got really good special defense already, and why not boost that a little more? Mega Medicham is a physical attacker, so I mean, Azelf, well, yeah. I guess Azelf is technically the biggest threat. It's not really, because Mega Medicham is. So if I can get this guy in on anything but the Medicham, then he's pretty set. He's got something to touch everyone on the team, because he's... What, does he... I don't think he has any resistances to Dark on the team. So, he's not resistant to Dark at all, entirely. So, Dark is beautiful. That's the reason I brought it. Actually, the Weavile. But the Weavile doesn't want to take a crunch from this guy? No way. Max physical attack, max HP with an Adamant Nature and 4 in special defense, just to boost that a little bit more. I'm probably going to stick that in physical defense because of the Medicham. If it makes any sort of difference, it could make the slightest bit of difference from me living or something. I don't know. The Medicham is the biggest threat to Hoodlum. Otherwise, he just works. Wrecks house on the team. Rockin' Moxie just so if I have the opportunity to sit in there, I can get a bunch of hits off. But I could also, thinking about it, I could also do the Intimidate, because he's got several good physical attackers. Musharna, Pyroar, Azelf, and Volcanion are the only typical special attackers. So the rest of them are typically physical. So I could run Intimidate. I may stick with Moxie for now. I'll let you know when we do the battle if I decided to change that to Intimidate. It'll kind of depend on what I feel. But they're like cutting down a tree across the street, so if you hear that, I'm sorry. You probably won't, because this thing is really good about not picking up noise. So, yeah, anyways, that is Hoodlum. Next up, we have Rem, our Gardevoir, rocking the Gardevoir right. She did not do well like I hoped she would last week. It was unfortunate. I don't remember what she went down. Oh, she went down to the Toxapex, I believe. Was it Toxapex? It was one of the poison Pokemon. It was the Muk, I think. Anyway, I really hope she has a good week, because she does not have a resistance to the Fairy except for Pyroar and Durant, so, and the Muk, excuse me, but, I have Psychic for that Muk. Anyways, Fairy just works nicely. If he has a Pokemon that wants to set up a substitute, I can Hyper Voice and get rid of that pretty easily. Hidden Power Fire for really the Durant, which counters the Hyper Voice and the Psychic, and, the Tangrowth, because Tangrowth takes... I mean, in all honesty, actually, Hyper Voice and Psychic do more than Hidden Power Fire, but to Tangrowth, but, you know, I'm gonna just keep Hidden Power Fire, because why not? And Thunderbolt for the Volcanion, more so than anything. And yeah, so we're rocking a fast special sweeper set, timid nature, max special attack, and max speed with 4 on physical defense because of the muck. I'm not sure if it'll really matter if I'll ever live a hit with anything more than that, but yeah. So hopefully Gardevoir can do well in this matchup. I want Gardevoir to get some kills. I want her to show her worth for me passing on Mega Pinsir for Gardevoir. It's just I want her to do well because I really like Mega Gardevoir, and that's the reason that I drafted it this season. So anyways, yeah, hopefully Ruem does well. Next up we have Aquamarine, the Primarina with the leftovers, Moonblast, Ice Beam, Scald, and Psychic. So once again, Fairy works well against his entire team. Psychic works on most of the Pokemon that are good against Fairy. Scald is actually pretty much for the Durant, because the Durant is the only thing that resists both the Moonblast and the Psychic. Anyway, the Scald should hit that thing hard, and if I can burn it, if it doesn't kill it, that'd be very nice. Durant doesn't have that great of special defense, does it? Or is it? I don't remember. It's one of his defense stats he's got really, really bad. That is special defense. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, and then Ice Beam, mainly for that Tangrowth, and that's probably about it. The Gligar gets obliterated by that. Gligar also won't take the Scald very well, so yeah. Anyway, Scald also works on the Pyroar. I didn't mention that, but we are rocking a bulky special sweeper set, like I think I have the entire time, at least in the DBL. I did run a Scarf set once or twice in the IBLAL, but we're rocking max HP, max special attack, modest nature, 4 in special defense. I don't really know why in special defense, but I guess I mean, its biggest threats are physical, so I'll just put it in defense, because why not? But because I don't think that 4 will make that much of a difference. I guess Azelf with Thunderbolt, but, you know, I had that thing last season. It was pretty good, but hopefully Primarina should put in some work, because it typically does. I don't remember which Pokemon is the kill leader. Okay, so Empoleon and Electivire are tied right now. I didn't bring Empoleon to this game. Empoleon has a 5... Wow. That's incredible. Empoleon is a 5 over 1, so it's got a 4 over under. That's insane. Oh my gosh, Empoleon is so good. I may end up bringing that over Sonic. We'll see if I explain to myself why I decided to bring Sonic. I mean, Sonic's a good Pokemon and all, but next up, finally, we have Sonic, the Time Explosion with a Shuckle Berry, which lowers the power of ground type moves. Flash Fire as well because of that Volcanion. Flamethrower, Earthquake, Focus Blast, and HP Ice. So this thing will just hit really, really hard. It's also very fast and very powerful on the special side especially. But I'm running Earthquake on this thing really for the Volcanion, because the Volcanion is probably the biggest counter for Sonic here, because he can hit everything else pretty hard. I'm rocking the Flash Fire so I can swap in on a Fire-type move if I predict that in the Volcanion, and I can get a boost to my Fire-type moves. It only gets Water Absorb. I don't think it gets Flash Fire, but Flamethrower will just hit his entire team really hard. His only resistance, I believe, is that Pyroar in the Volcanion, which resists it 4 times. So Fire just works really nicely against this team too. Damn, that's probably why I brought it. Earthquake mainly for the Volcanion. I guess it does hit the Pyroar and the Muck, which is not bad at all. Focus Blast mainly for those normal types, being the Pyroar. It hits the Durant for neutral, even though that's not even a big deal. It obliterates the Weavile, which once again is not really that big of a deal. And the Bouffalant, I guess, because that's funny. I wanted both Bouffalant and Pyroar in Season 2, but I only got Bouffalant because Pyroar got drafted in the same round, I believe, or something like that. Anyways, it's just kind of funny how several Pokemon I had the last 2 seasons. And then Hidden Power Ice, mainly for the Gligar. That's probably about it. I think that's the only thing it really does anything to. So yeah, that's why I decided to bring that. I may end up bringing Empoleon just because Empoleon is such a good Pokemon. I mean, he does have the Bouffalant, which can get a ground-type move. I think Durant gets Earthquake. I could be wrong about that, but it may also. And Azelf, you know what? As much as I love you, Typhlosion, I don't really want to bring you. You're just not. Your moveset just isn't good enough, so. Empoleon. Gligar doesn't get Stealth Rock. Alright, well that actually makes my job a lot easier. I don't need to bring Defog, because he has literally no rockers on his team. That's crazy. That's crazy. Literally none of his Pokemon. That's actually crazy. I can't believe that. Alright, well anyways, since I don't need to run Defog, I can actually run Defiant this week. If he has a Pokemon that has Intimidate, which I'm not sure he does. If he has something that lowers stats, I don't know. Wow. Alright, so rocks are super helpful. I'm definitely bringing Stealth Rocks. You're getting a little live building and see what goes through my head. So I do want to bring Hidden Power Fire. Mainly for the Durant, because that thing counters me pretty decently. I also want to bring Scald, because Scald is just a good all-around move. And I don't need to worry about Defog, so it's really nice. I'm going to go for Knockoff. Because Knockoff is a good move, so I don't really want to do a bulky special sweeper. I'd rather do you... Let's see, what do I want to do? I don't really have a specifically bulky Pokemon. So I think I'm just going to make you very, very good. And put a lot in special defense. Fairly decent amount in that, and I'm gonna do that. So we're gonna do that, and I want to... I don't know if I want to do a relaxed nature. I probably won't. Let's see how much Impish lowers special attack. Okay, you know what? I can deal with that. So I'm gonna go for Impish and boost physical... Actually, no, I want to... I need to boost special defense, I think. So I think, you know what, since I don't remember what the freak it's called, I'm just going to do that. What is it called? It's Careful. Why do I always forget Careful? That's the one I always forget. It's the opposite of Rash, and I always forget it. Anyways, this is the team. This is the guy that we built. I think I'm just going to go for lefties, because that's the simplest play. Ooh, I could go Rocky Helmet or Shuckaberry. Because he does have that ground threat. We'll go with the Shuckaberry. Why not? Alright, so anyways, this is the set we're doing, Shuckaberry, to reduce the power of Earthquake from several Pokemon that can learn. I think Tangrowth gets it, as well as Gligar does, I think Durant does, Bouffalant definitely does, so he's got several Pokemon that can learn Earthquake. Defiant, if he decides to lower one of my stats, because I don't need to run Defog, so I can run Defiant, which is really nice. I got Stealth Rocks, because Stealth Rocks is really good. He's got several Pokemon that are weak to the rocks, as well as he has no way to remove them, no way to set some up himself, which is really good. Hidden Power Fire for the Durant, because the Durant really is able to take Scald and knockoffs better. It also will help me a little bit against the Tangrowth if Bubble Bite actually gets stuck in on them. Scald, once again, just is a very nice move, because Scald is a good move. I just gotta be careful of that Volcanion. Make sure that if it swaps in to absorb the water, that it's not low on health, so that it doesn't get that health boost. And then knock off if I can get rid of some life orbs or some lefties or something. It's always a good move. And we're rocking max HP, 116 special defense, with a careful nature, because I want to be able to live Thunderbolts. That's my biggest threat. The Mega Medicham is not a good thing. No, I actually like the Impish idea. I'm gonna go for Impish, because that boosts my defense a little more, and hopefully that should... Maybe I can live a high jump kick. We'll see. We'll see about that. But anyways, we're rocking 116 special defense, because I want to be able to tank some hits with 48 in physical defense, an Impish nature to boost defense, and lower my special attack, because I don't need that as much. I'll put a little bit in attack just to boost the power of Knockoff, and a little bit in special attack to boost the power of Scald and Hidden Power Fire. So that is the team we are bringing for week, whatever. What is this week? Week 5. It says it's not validated because Gardevoir is illegal. I know, it's okay, it doesn't matter. But I'm super excited for this match. Hopefully we can pull it a win. We've had 2 disappointing losses in a row. The one against Sharp was just bad, and I shouldn't have lost that game against Tiki. It was my mistake turn 1 letting my my Electivire go down. That was the biggest mistake. I sort of thought he was going to swap, and then I realized that he had no reason to swap. If I gone for Cross Chop, he would have been done. And I still have Kitty, and it would have been a better battle on my end, because I would have had my counter. So anyways, it was just a bad match, and I really hope we can pull back this week and have a good match. And leave us some comments if you really enjoyed it. I really appreciate it. Make sure to talk to me. Let's go Nidokings.